Marvel's core Amazing Spider Man series is experiencing a season of change, as the publisher just wrapped up the massive gang war storyline ensuing so many ancillary characters of Spider Man's supporting cast. Today, Peter Parker is trying to pick up the pieces and help out Mary Jane's Aunt Anna after she took some mysterious pills that were sabotaged by the anti mutant group known as Orcus. My name is Araco Brannock, and today, let's go ahead and preview the pages of Amazing Spider Man issue 45 to see how this series can acclimate to a new status quo in the wake of Marvel's gang war. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button over on this video. The gang war is over, but New York City will bear the scars for a long time. While Peter was fighting the war, other parts of his life kept going on, and the consequences will be felt here. Plus, what mystery is bubbling up at Ravencroft? So Amazing Spider-Man 45 is written from Zeb Wells, featuring artwork from Carmen Carnero. We have colors from Marcio Menyz, letters from VC's Joe Caramagna, and the cover for the issue is illustrated over from John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna, and Marcio Menyz. Over on the cover of this Amazing Spider-Man issue, I think this disheveled look over at Spider-Man is really fascinating, and I think this is a great way to position some of John Romita Jr.'s artwork throughout the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. And I want to extend a quick thank you to Adventures in Poor Taste and preview the beautiful artwork from Carmen Carnero over on Amazing Spider-Man issue 45. Really think this preview page that we have up on the screen is so beautiful as it details Spider-Man's chance encounter with the character of Jackpot, who he experiences a little bit later on in the scope of the issue here. Getting Carmen Carnero's really concise and incredible attention to detail in terms of anatomy is really fascinating. I also particularly love the layout on this page, really emphasizing that hue of negative space towards the background in this final panel, also giving way to a fascinating bleed over with Spider-Man as well. The opening page on the Amazing Spider-Man 45 just previews an interesting window into the world of Ravencroft, showing some previous Spider-Man adversaries and introducing readers to some of the staff over at Ravencroft. The way that these plot threads coalesce with the core Amazing Spider-Man series is really interesting, and I think the way that Zeb Wells structured the issue to give so much context in the second half is an incredible artful way to approach the scripting in terms of Amazing Spider-Man. Also, the visual reveal over of Peter Parker within the first couple pages is captured so well visually from both Carnero and Wells through the scope of the issue. Plus, we have just a great sense of perspective on the page as well. Carnero is such a great artist and utilizes so many different techniques on the page, whether it be some great negative space, panel bleeds, or just fascinating uses of perspective to make the issue in this comic book series really stand out. Later on, within the pages of Marvel Comics' Amazing Spider-Man 45, Peter has a chance encounter with the surprising Spider-Man villain at Ravencroft. Peter's interaction with this character is so beautiful that I dare not spoil any of their interaction or the surprising pieces of plot that amounts from it as well. The Amazing Spider-Man really has the board open towards issue 50 here, so I find it so fascinating to see what plot threads Zeb Wells is really teeing up just in response to that really interesting landmark issue of Amazing Spider-Man. So at the end of the day here, I think Amazing Spider-Man 45 is a phenomenal issue of the series, doing a great job picking up on some of the pieces of gang war and reestablishing some of our supporting cast characters like Peter Parker and Mary Jane. I also found that there was so much depth in this issue across some of the dialogue exchanges between Peter and Norman Osborn, as well as this mysterious villain lingering in the background. Another thing I wanted to go ahead and attribute Zeb Wells towards across this particular chapter of Amazing Spider-Man is how well he's managed to implement so many of the narrative threads from previous installments. We got to see Aunt Anna and her effect with some of the Orcus drugs such a long time ago within the scope of Spider-Man continuity. I'm so interested to see the publisher return to this plot thread here. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts over on Amazing Spider-Man issue 45? Did you appreciate this chapter as much as I did? What were some of your thoughts over on Carmen Carnero's artwork? Thank you so much for coming to check out our video review over on this chapter, and we'll be back to see what future storylines are headed for this series involving Electro. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.